back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marie, and if you're not, hey, how are you? But really, so today I've got my first guest.
Hi, how you doing?
Introduce yourself, plug yourself and everything.
Oh my god. Okay, so my name's Johanna. I own 2 small businesses and a YouTube channel. You said plug yourself. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Anyways, so I do events, so real events, just social royalty, and I also sell vegan makeup, Noir Royale, and if you're trying to like learn how to cook, Jojos kitchen. It's a channel that has a really loud Congolese music, and I'm also an award-winning event manager. I mean, since I'm plugging myself, so yeah, I'm an award-winning event manager and a pandemic graduate.
×2.
Period.
Period. I'll link all of her socials and stuff down below.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's so nice.
So you guys can check her out because that's on period. So yeah, what are we gonna talk about?
If I remember correctly, it was along the lines of the effects that relationships can have on your mental health.
Amen. Can we click to that one?
Child, where do I begin? The streets are ghetto. That's what we need to.
Stay out the streets, kids. Stay out the streets.
Don't go to the streets, kids. It's ghetto. But like, on a real talk, relationships can be so mentally draining on you, whether it's like a romantic one or a friendship one. Like, it can be very draining on you, and it can take like a lot if, say, you've also been going through something, or you just come out of something and you haven't like fully healed and you let yourself go into something else, and you like test to that. So, don't listen. Don't copy what I do. Listen to what I say. Don't copy what I do. Like, it can be so draining, or like when you constantly also have people in your ear like, when will you reach these milestones? It's like, when will you get a boyfriend, girlfriend? When will you get married? When will you have kids? I do that. It's like, I'm gonna need all of y'all. I'm gonna need every single one of y'all to stop it. Yeah. Behave yourself.
No, it's very true.
Because it's not easy.
It's not. Even my mom, she knows. She's the #1 pressurer in terms of finding her man, giving her grandchildren. Mom, you know. So don't come for me because you know.
Mama, I didn't tell her to come for your neck like that. So, Mama T, I'm so sorry.
But no, like, it's just so much pressure. Also in society, like, I even spoke to Joanna about it yesterday. Like, all of my friends are actually older than me, and I seem to forget that sometimes because I think, oh, I should be the same place they are. But also everyone has their own timing, so it doesn't matter if you're older, younger. Even if I'm older than someone and they're married, like, it really doesn't matter. Your timing will come, and that's one thing I just had to realize and come to terms with, because I'd really be looking at everyone else and thinking, bro, what am I doing?
I need to hurry up.
I need to be doing. I've got so much that I need to be doing, and I really just sat here like one dog, just coming on YouTube because I have nothing else to do. But but then, like, in terms of relationships, to be honest, I know that one relationship that I went through, oh my gosh. Sometimes you can be blinded by love. That's one thing I was gonna say, because I feel like even when I'm in a relationship, I can be like, oh, okay, I love this person, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't realize until you're out of that relationship how much it took away from who you were. Because when I came out of the relationship, I realized I was a completely different person to who I was. Even some of my friends used to say like, wow, Marie, you've changed a bit, you know. And I used to just laugh at them and just think, yeah, and move on. But after I came out of that relationship, I really realized that I've changed so much. Like, especially with guys who be like, I don't want to say controlling, but they be trying to change you in certain ways. And yeah, sip your tea. Sip your tea. They be trying to change you, trying to mold you.
It's stupendous. Sensational, in the words of Future.
They be trying to change you and mold you into the person they want, and that's not who you are. So that's one thing I definitely say. Try and see the early signs, especially because I can look back and say I saw so many signs that was like, no, this guy's not for you.
This when you're saying like see early signs, I think like for all of us, like some of my friends, like if they watch it, they'll actually be like, yeah, Joanna, you were stupid because we were saying it to you all the time. Like, you tend to look at things or people with rose tinted glasses. Like, you will always only see the good in them. Like, they could be Voldemort and you will still be like, oh, but you know, they did this though, so it's not that bad. Or they've been doing
Don't give guys excuses.
Listen, my sisters, sometimes we need to listen to our mothers.
Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes.
Like maybe like once in every year. Especially us as women, we tend to be like, yeah, I can change him. Yeah, like even though he is the devil incarnate, you refuse to see that. And it's not until after your mental health has been dragged through the gutters. Not
even dragged, but scrumpled, crunched, pushed, run over by a bus.
You know those aunties in American movies where like they get the Holy Spirit and they start stomping.
That's you. That is you.
Your mental health is stomped. Like those aunties when they say they get the spirit in the movies. That's what will happen to your mental health. And I can attest to that because it went through a period like my mental health was shattered. Uni was also trying to kill me.
Uni is no joke as well, by the way. Uni is no joke. So if you've graduated,
from pandemic graduates.
If you've graduated, give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself
you did it.
You did it.
Don't let anyone
did that apart from you.
Don't let anyone be like, oh, but you graduated your next. Listen,
you did that.
How many people have gone through a panoramic, a Panasonic,
a whole Panasonic,
a whole pandemonium? And you decided to graduate, you were like, you know what, I'm gonna keep going with uni.
Whilst people were just sitting in their homes clapping every Thursday, you were out there doing your assignments, doing your dissertation.
You cried.
You cried.
You starved yourself. Your mental health went through the gutters. But you survived. And you want to tell me that's not amazing?
Oh, preach.
Child,
preach.
You did it.
You did it.
You did it, and I don't want anyone ever tell you that you did it for me. That's just on period. I actually cried when I got my certificate in the post.
You cried?
Yeah, because I was like, I really did that. No, Mary.
I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I think
I had like, blood tears.
I think when I found out my grade, I was so shocked because the funny thing is, obviously I don't want to cuss my tutor, but the funny thing is, back at the time when I was in my 3rd year, I got a new tutor because my other tutor left. So I was talking to him and I wanted to do music therapy afterwards, and I had to get a 2-1. So I was talking to him, he was like, no, you're not going to get a 2-1. Can you do an access course? Can you do anything else to get yourself to that place? Because you're not going to get. Because literally, 1st year, 2nd year, I was on 2-2 straight. Even me, I started believing him. I was like, nah, I'm going to get a 2-2. Where I got that 2, I was like,
you did that.
God only. God only.
I dropped out of uni mainly because like mental health wise, I wasn't there, and also like coming from a background, because I came from Ireland, so we didn't do law for A levels. Yeah. Whereas a lot of you guys here, you do law for A levels. So everyone on my course had that background already, and I was struggling. So when I speak to my tutors, I remember, listen, I remember you. She was not that much help to me. Like I'll go to her like, can you help me out with this? And she'll look at me like, you should know that. And I was just like, but I don't. And then there was this one girl. On my course, like when I'd ask her for help, because she was always like, oh, I did A-level law, so like I know what I'm talking about. Like when you ask her for help, she'd be like, I can't, I need to do this, I can't, I need this. It sounds really bad, but I'm glad I dropped out of uni and I went back afterwards. Because if I had stayed at that uni, I would have got a merit or distinction. I went to a new uni. I started from scratch. And I finished with a 2-1 degree. Mental health be mental healthing. Be it for uni or relationships, mental health be mental healthing. It's ghetto.
But I think one thing you need to have as well, like we spoke about it before, the people in your life and the people you surround yourself with. That is one thing so important. Because I remember when I was going through like a rough patch, not even that long ago, like a couple of months ago, and I remember I spoke to Ellie, and she was literally so supportive, and I never seen that side of her before in it, because obviously I never spoken to her about my mental health or anything. Yeah. But then when I spoke to her about it, I realized that these are the people I need in my life.
Yeah.
Not the
and
people
Ellie's a good friend as well.
Yeah. Not the people who shout out.
Yeah.
Not even the people
who... Nicki Minaj, our Barbie.
Oh.
If you know, you know.
If you don't, you don't. But yeah, she was just really supportive. It just made me look at all of my friends in it and just see, okay, these are the friends I need to keep, these are the friends I need to cut off. You don't have time to be wasting your time with people who don't even give a damn about you. And
just on the subject of like speaking so much of mental health, I think what you just said is like really important, like how you didn't really speak about it. Yeah. I think coming from our backgrounds, like especially culturally, in African society, it's like speaking about your mental health is a taboo. Like people will say
mental health what?
I don't know what
mental health where? Mental health who?
You have a roof over your head, so why are you sad?
That is so true!
You have food in the kitchen.
Why are you sad?
Why are you crying? Why are you angry? Why are you upset?
There's some people in Africa who haven't even eaten today and you are crying.
They have to trek for miles just to get some water, and you have it in the fridge. You have bottled water from Tesco and you're crying.
Because we have to drink dirty water and yours is filtered. How many times is it filtered and you're still crying?
We don't have that luxury if you want to speak about it. And another thing, I don't know if you've mentioned this on your channel before, but I feel like I might have heard it somewhere from you or something. Yeah. But it's like, also when it comes to maybe seeking help for your mental health. Yeah. Saying that, all of a sudden it's like, why are you trying to bring outsiders into your issues or into your problems? When it's like, sometimes you do need an outside perspective. I'm not saying you need to go to your therapist or your psychiatrist and be like, start from when your parents were doing their immigration papers back in 1959. We're not saying that that's what we're gonna do. We're just saying like, I want to talk to someone who will help me work through my emotions. Exactly. Be it to do with like uni, relationships, whatever. Sometimes you do need someone who's an outsider to talk to, because you might be looking at something like in one box and they'd be like, no, here's a bigger picture. And we don't always have that perspective, and we need it. When I had therapy anyway, when I had counselling, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even want to go to that lady. Sometimes I just sit there, be quiet, look at her. Can I ask you a question? Was your therapist black? I feel like that's another thing as well. It's like, this is what I've seen on social media, and someone made a really good point about it, just like off the back of what you're saying. It's like, sometimes having a therapist who looks like you greatly helps. Like when I'm looking at other people's like stories or their testimonies, whatever, they're like, when I was going to a therapist who didn't look like me, I struggled. When I went to someone who looked like me, they helped me see it much better, because a lot of the times they come from the same background as us. So that also helps. But yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing definitely that I've seen. There's some other YouTubers who've had therapists who have been black, and they've seemed to get so much from it. Whereas obviously me at the time, I didn't have a choice. I was new to this depression. Like I said, there's a whole taboo. I didn't even know it existed until I caught it. The therapist that I had, she did help me, but there was just sometimes when I genuinely went there and I just didn't want to go. But it was by force that I went, because obviously my parents dragged me, but it is what it is. Oh, your parents took you?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, my parents took me. Sometimes they would get to the point, because you know how obviously in African households it's so much of a taboo, to the point that I genuinely didn't feel like my parents understood where I was coming from. So there were some times where I'd be speaking in therapy about that, my parents, my family and stuff like that. And I think there was even a couple times, maybe 2-3 times, that my parents actually came in on the therapy session. Oh, really? And we were talking, and like she would basically be my voice, because obviously me, I just genuinely couldn't even speak. I felt like I couldn't speak to the minute. My mom, she studied like health and social care at uni. Yeah. She's also a pandemic graduate. Shout out to my mama. In 2020, so last year, my mental health was in the gutter so bad. Like a lot of people just did not talk to me about it. Like it's actually kind of the first time where I'm saying something about it. So it's like my mental health was really, really bad. My mom understood it more and understood what I was going through mentally, because she had studied it. And she said herself, like, had I not studied what I did at uni, I would not understand how you're feeling mentally. Exactly. And I feel like that's a really good step forward for like a lot of our parents, because we're not sticking to the mentality that we have from back home. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, but you can't assimilate, you can't just take Western ideals. We're not saying take Western ideals. We're saying take things that will help you and your family grow. You and your family build, because after our parents' generations, like they have kids that grow up like us, they don't have relationships with their kids. Because you used to beat them, you used to talk down on them, you used to X, Y, Z. And then when they have kids, when they get married, you wonder, why did my son just send me to the nursing home? You had damaged that relationship before it could even be formed. And that's why like a lot of our generation, they're having like issues having anything with their parents. Because I saw this tweet actually a couple of days ago where someone's like, a lot of kids or like people our generation rather pay $700 plus to rent a flat than live at home for free, because the mental health won't allow it. To be honest, I'm gonna like, even me, I feel like living at home has just really gotten to the point that I'm just like, I need to go. It's just, I don't know, I need my own space in it. Especially because at uni, I tasted that freedom. I think if you've never lived outside of home, you can't compare it to anything else. That's true. So for me, I'm just like, I need to go. It's time to go. Well, I'm currently living outside of home at the moment. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I think it's because like after we kind of like healed all together, I was like, okay, it's become a much better environment as well. A part of me is like, I'd rather go back home. Like I miss when mom was cooking. Wow. But at the same time, no, I understand what you mean, like where you get that freedom, you're a bit like,
yeah, I want to live with y'all, so.
This is...
With everything, I think I need to work on this as well for myself. It's like communicating better. Because when you're able to voice what you're going through a lot better, you tend to heal and also move forward. So I feel like that's the biggest thing for anyone.
No, I think, to be honest, communication, I think ever since obviously I got diagnosed, I feel like ever since then I've had to communicate because everyone around me knew that I had depression. So it was like they would constantly be asking me, are you okay? How's this? Blah, blah, blah. So I had to get to the point where I felt comfortable with discussing how I was feeling. Definitely before, I was literally the type of person, I would never tell anyone how I'm feeling. I would constantly be smiling just so that no one asked me questions.
Yeah, it's easier to smile than to
exactly
like what you're going through.
So I was just like, afterwards, it just made me open up a lot more about how I'm feeling. I'm not too afraid to say how I'm feeling. You guys should have that person, even if it's not that person, but that group of people that you know you can go to about anything. But as long as you've got that person that you know, okay, this is my guy, ride or die, then you go to that person, speak to her about your feelings.
For me, I don't know if like you guys felt this, but a part of me sometimes feels guilty unloading on people.
Yeah, that's what I used to hate. My mum would always say to me, why don't you tell me this before? Like, I'd always tell her stuff when it gets too late, and she'd be like, why didn't you tell me this before? Because I don't want to be a burden on you. I don't want to put this stuff that I'm going through on you, because at the end of the day, I feel like if I just go through it by myself, then at least I'm not hurting anyone around me. Because imagine your mum who's given birth to you, carried you for 9 months, and her knowing that obviously I'm feeling H, Y, Z. Basically, I feel like it's gonna hurt her so much more rather than me just being like, yeah, I'm fine. I feel like mothers out there, they would want to know so that they can help you. At least they know that you're going through that, you know what I mean? Instead of keeping it to yourself. Yeah, so thank you, Johanna, for coming on my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. Obviously, I'll link her stuff down below so all of you guys can go check it out. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share with your aunties, your uncles, your nephews, your nieces, your grandmothers, your grandpas.
Your great-grandmothers if they're still alive.
Exactly. Even if you just put it on and let them watch, sometimes they don't know how to be using, you know, technology, but just put it on, let them watch. So it's been nice talking to you guys. If you've got any comments about what we've said in this video, just leave it down below. I'm gonna obviously always put all my socials down below as well. Please follow me. And yeah, if you've got any video suggestions for me to do next time, put them down below as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Lord, that's it, Lord.
He had it left, right, and centered.
This is basically a chit chat.
My mom says all the time, I carried you for 9 months and I didn't eat apples. Child. I don't think there's enough minutes in this video for us to talk about it. And it was in a pandemonium. Once every leap year, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
What's the next leap year? There we go.
But
can
because
I
I
just
was
put you off a second?
no.
Like,
I'm not the
triple.
Not even triple, quadrupled. Okay. My bride price is high.
Like the Empire State Building.
Hey!